Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Solent Sports News. I'm Ashley Gregory and this is your 3:30 PM bulletin. We start with some more news on the top Indian cricketer who's being charged with attempt to murder. Callum Byrne brings us the latest details.
Mohammad Shami has been charged following a complaint by his wife. Shami has been dropped from a list of contracted players for the national team announced by the Board of Control for Cricket in India. Police say the charges against the fast bowler include domestic violence, rape, attempted murder and criminal intimidation. Shami has represented India 87 times in all formats of the game since 2012. The charges against the player carry prison terms of 10 years or more.
Well, really interesting stuff there. Thank you very much, Callum. On to football now, and it's understood that West Bromwich Albion forward Jay Rodriguez is going to contest an FA charge for alleged racist abuse of Brighton defender Gaitan Bong. Rodriguez pinched Bong's nose after the two clashed in West Brom's 2-0 win at the Hawthorns in January, with the Cameroonian alerting the referee to the incident. Brighton manager Chris Hughton does have some good news though. He has today been named as the Premier League Manager of the Month for February. He's beaten off competition from the big guns. The other nominees included Jurgen Klopp and Mauricio Pochettino. The Seagulls were unbeaten in February, including wins at home to Swansea and West Ham. And the Player of the Month award for February was Liverpool's Mohamed Salah. His manager Jurgen Klopp has praised his side's star winger for his achievements this season. Salah is currently the joint top scorer in the league this season, tied with only Harry Kane on 24 league goals. Klopp hopes the Egyptian can continue to impress.
Obviously deserved, so that's all good. Had so far quite a good season, but a few games to come, and hopefully he can continue, that's all. Congratulations more.
Klopp's men face fierce rivals Manchester United this weekend. It's potentially the biggest game of any Premier League calendar. Well, United boss Jose Mourinho has been playing down its importance, with his club's midweek Champions League clash against Sevilla on his mind.
I don't think the fans are happy if I say that Liverpool is the biggest match of the season and then Sevilla is not a big match. We have to face every match with the same mentality. So for me, I don't get that match means 10 points. That match is 3 points.
Tennis now, and gender equality is making the headlines. Former world number one Billie Jean King has called for an end to 5-set matches for men at Grand Slams. King, who won 12 Grand Slam titles, including 6 at Wimbledon, said men's matches could be lasting too long. The 74-year-old suggested women are willing to play 5 sets too, but people wanted quality over quantity. Let's hear from the public now on whether men and women should come under the same regulations.
Yeah, definitely. Only because then why should there be different? Like, what are you trying to say between women and males? What's so different that women could do less than males?
I mean, to be fair, in this day and age, you should have the same sort of regulations for everything.
Women should get a chance to prove that they can do just as good with the same rules.
It's a no-brainer. No-brainer, yeah.
All good as one another, I would say.
And there is also more misery for McLaren as Fernando Alonso stopped on track in the final Formula One pre-season test. McLaren's racing director Eric Boulier has confirmed the oil leak, which caused the stoppage, is the same problem the team encountered on Tuesday. Kimi Raikkonen currently leads the way, with Lewis Hamilton in 8th. The world champion is hopeful that it will be a close fight at the front.
The ultimate goal is that we hopefully have more teams fighting for the championship. That's only good for the sport. The more competition, the more fun it is to watch. Growing up watching the sport and being a fan of it and seeing it when it's been a one-team championship and seeing it when there's been a couple fighting. So I'm really hopeful.
In the boxing, the Tyson Fury saga continues to roll on. The former multi-division heavyweight champion has this week been offered a partnership with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing. And that's the same Eddie Hearn that represents the current heavyweight champion, Anthony Joshua. So what could that mean? Well, here in the studio are our boxing experts Dan Lewis and Jack Lindsay to break down the story. Jack, can fans expect to see a fight between Joshua and Fury?
Well, Ash, it really depends on a couple of things. First off, we've got Joshua's fight coming up with Parker. I mean, there's 3 titles on the line here. If he does lose to Parker, which is it is a possibility. Parker's unbeaten here. I mean, the wheels really come off here for Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing if they're looking to line up this potential fight with Fury in the next couple of months. But past that, you've also got to look in the rest of the division. You've got Deontay Wilder, who's holding another one of the main 4 heavyweight belts. So there's plenty of ways Tyson Fury could go with this if Joshua's not the first route. Do you want to carry on, Dan?
The only problem with the matter is the fact that he's been out of action for 2.5 years now since he faced Vladimir Klitschko in November 2015. He was banned a year ago, over a year ago in October 2016, and that means that, I mean, he hasn't had any action fighting so far. So to jump straight into a fight with Anthony Joshua, I think would be a bit out of the cards. But I mean, Tyson Fury is still a big name. He is still a controversial figure. You never know.
I mean, yeah, just to follow on from that, Tyson Fury is, of course, very hot proper in the boxing world. Maybe only behind Joshua and Deontay Wilder, but there's baggage with Fury. He's been, obviously there was a lot of controversy a couple of years ago when he was nominated for Sports Personality of the Year. Of course, he was dropped from that following allegations of sexism and homophobia. And then, of course, a couple of years ago, just following his victory over Vladimir Klitschko, we had the whole doping scandal with him and Hughie Fury as well. There's a lot of baggage with Fury. So if he does end up joining Matchroom Boxing, there is obviously that straight route to bigger fights. But do they want to be associate themselves with someone like that? I don't know.
I mean, I think that it would be difficult to get Tyson Fury back into a situation like that, and it would cause some controversy. But at the same time, boxing isn't the sport where everyone is cramped in looking for that sort of controversy. They look for that as a success tool, as a selling tool for more fights. So I mean, that could be a potential avenue for him. But I'd say that the next AJ fight would probably be against Deontay Wilder, considering that he had his TKO knockout win against Luis Ortiz the other day. So I mean, that would probably be setting up Anthony Joshua for that fight rather than the Fury fight. But we'll never.
Yeah, I was going to say, of course, you've got Fury, and there's other names in the hat. But can we say anyone who might be most likely to fight Joshua next?
Well, the division's not exactly cramped at the minute. There's 4, 5, 6 names, depending how far you want to look into it. You've got obviously the top dogs there. Your 3 heavyweight champions currently are Joshua, Joseph Parker, who's obviously taken on in a few weeks' time, and Deontay Wilder. And when you look further down the list, you have, there's a few other names there.
Dylan White
and that. But yeah, if Joshua and Tyson Fury do get to fight, that would be a very big draw, and potentially, obviously, one of them could move on to fight Wilder, if not the other way around.
Yeah.
Great, chaps. Thanks very much for joining us. Really appreciate you being here. Right, in the rugby now, we can hear from our correspondent Will Perrich. He's on his way to France to see if England can keep their Six Nations hopes alive.
The Six Nations return this weekend as England travelled to Paris in search of a win over France. Eddie Jones had to make 3 changes to his side, with injured captain Dylan Hartley being replaced by Saracens hooker Jamie George. The other changes come in the back as Elliot Daly replaces Mike Brown and Ben Teo replaces Jonathan Joseph. England lost their chance at a Grand Slam 2 weeks ago as they lost to Scotland at Murrayfield. However, a bonus point win over the French could see their hopes still alive. However, those hopes will very much depend on the result of Ireland's game against Scotland in Dublin. Ireland are still on course for a Grand Slam, but will face a very good Scottish side who are hot off the back of that win over England. Should Scotland beat Ireland in Dublin, it will be a very interesting last round of fixtures as all of England, Scotland and Ireland will go into them with a chance of winning the championship. And the other game of the weekend is Wales versus Italy, which is a bit of a dead rubber match considering neither team can win the championship. However, with speculation circling that Italy could be replacing the Six Nations Championship by the likes of Georgia and Romania, the Italians will be keen to win to prove to everyone else that they are good enough to remain with the best.
Nice reporting again there from Will on his way to France, of course. Well, that's all for now. Join us again at 4:30 for our final bulletin of the day, where we're going to have some news packages created by our very own sports journalism students. Also, Joel returns for more Premier League action. So thanks very much for listening. I've been Ashley Gregory for Solent Sports News.